It's Bullseye. I'm Jesse Thorn. It's a few of our favorite interviews from Bullseye this week. Up next, Ice-T. Ice-T is, of course, an entertainment business veteran. He's been acting for over 25 years. He was a pioneer of West Coast hip-hop in the early 1980s. His roots are so deep that his first screen credit, which was in 1984's Breakin', was as, and I swear to God, this is the credit, Rap Talker. His breakthrough on screen was in New Jack City in 1991. He spent the last dozen or so years solving crimes on Law & Order SVU. He's an MC, and as the frontman of the metal band Body Count, he's released more than a dozen albums in his 30-year music career. When I talked with him in 2012, he just directed his first ever movie. It was a documentary called Something from Nothing, The Art of Rap. In it, he travels from coast to coast, talking to rappers from Grandmaster Caz to Kanye West about the work of the MC. Let's take a listen to a bit of Ice-T's 1987 hit 6 in the Morning, which helped define gangster rap and a generation of West Coast MCs.
6 in the morning, police at my door. Fresh Adidas squeak across the bathroom floor. Out my back window, I'll take my escape. Didn't even get a chance to grab my old school tape. Mad with no music, but happy cause free. And the streets to a player is the place to be. Got a knot in my pocket weighing at least $1,000. Gold on my neck, my pistol's close at hand. I'm a self-made monster of the city streets. Remotely controlled by hard hip-hop beats. But just living in the city is a serious task. Didn't know what the cops wanted, didn't have time to ask.
Word. Ice, welcome to Bullseye. It's great to have you on the show.
Oh man, thanks for the support. Thanks for having me, man.
I think it's really interesting. You know, you were cutting hip hop records on the West Coast at the very dawn of people cutting hip hop records on the West Coast.
Yes, sir.
And it's interesting to me that a lot of those early West Coast hip hop pioneers are folks who had New York roots and were physically transplanted. I mean, sort of in the Bay Area, you have Davey D. Is originally from New York,
right.
Came to the Bay Area in the early '80s, and you came to L.A. as a young teenager.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much that had to do with the art form. I think it's just that when you heard hip hop, no matter where you were, it was the kind of a culture that made you want to try to be part of it. Whether you thought you were an artist, whether you thought you could be a DJ, whether you thought you could break dance, or whether you thought you could rap. It was the kind of culture that had a lot of open doors, and everybody tried their luck at it. I started rapping before anybody had ever bought a car from it.
I want to play a little bit of your first record. This is 1983's The Coldest Rap. Let's take a listen.
Y'all, please check it out. 'Cause I'm a player. I'm always clean. I rode Mercedes-Benz when I was 17. From the womb to the tomb, I run my game. 'Cause I'm cold as ice, and I show no shame. Heaven sent close, I got more money than the U.S. Mint. I ride ragtop road with rocks on my hand. Maseratis and Mercedes-Benz. I have an ocean line, private jets. Bel Air bookies place my bets. I own islands off the coast of France, and I wear designer shirts and pants. When I was brought into this world, my mama never asked I was a boy or a girl. Plus I rode over to her and gave her a kiss. She said, "Yo, daddy don't rock me like this." When the doctor hit me on the behind, I broke on down with a funky rhyme. The nurses said I was awfully cute when I played at the joint in a 3-piece suit. Y'all, please check it out.
This song, I mean, this is like an electro record. It's
Yeah.
actually Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis on the production.
Yeah, what happened with that was, you know, I'm at a beauty parlor. At that time, I had my hair was permed and curled, like some real pimp stuff. And I used to say the rhymes to the girls, just, you know, trying to mack them down. You know, it was my way of entertaining them. And this guy said, "Hey, man, you want to make a record?" I'm like, Word? Yeah, yes, I got a record. I got a studio. This particular guy's name was Willie Strong, and he had another guy named Cletus Anderson, and they owned a record store in L.A. called VIP. They owned this track with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis on it. Somebody was singing on it. And they took me in the studio. They wiped the singing track. They put me in a booth just like we're sitting in now talking, and he goes, go.
You know, there's a great part in the movie that you've directed, The Art of Rap, where you're talking about this kind of pre-hip-hop rapping and rhyming, this kind of just street rapping.
Toasting. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Tell me a little bit. Was that where you first, or was your plan always to be, you know, in 1979, Rapper's Delight broke nationally. I mean, it was a huge record.
I had no idea there was ever going to be rap music. Just those rhymes were something that you would do on the street. There was a album, if you research it, it's called the Hustlers Convention. And it was like, old cats saying rhymes. And you had the Last Poets. Then you had Gil Scott-Heron. And, Iceberg Slims even did an album called Reflection, where he spoke in rhyme. Speaking in rhyme has been tradition in black, culture for years. Now, doing it syncopated to a beat, that's different. That's where rap and hip-hop came. So I had all these little rhymes. I used to make rhymes for the gangs. I would say all these different rhymes. That's one of the rhymes I say early in a movie, just to entertain my friends. And when I first heard hip-hop, I'm like, I could do that. It was similar to something I'd already been doing, but it took a while to learn how to get it to lock into the beat. And like Rakim says, correct use of syllables. Somebody could try to rhyme and you could listen to them and you can go, it's just not locked in. And it's like, all they got to do is drop one syllable and it'll just lock in. And that's when you get into the craft.
We actually have a clip from the movie of Rakim talking a little bit about his writing process. Let's take a listen to that.
I try to start off with 16 dots on the paper.
What?
Start off with 16 dots on the paper. Bang, 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 bang. If it's a 16-bar rhyme, at least I know, what I'm dealing with. My thing was, if 4 bars was this long, my thing was I got, I see like a graph in between them 4 bars. And within that, I could place so many words and so many syllables and so many words. And at times, if the beat was perfect, I can take it to the point where there's no other words you can put in that 4 bars.
There's these 2 revolutions going on shortly after your first LP came out. Right in this time, 86, 87, 88, 89. One is on the West Coast, you have NWA taking what you did on 6 in the Morning and making it into a phenomenon.
A super movement. Yeah.
The other one is this sort of aesthetic revolution, which Rakim is, I think, probably the greatest. I mean, there are some other truly exceptional examples. Mm-hmm. You talked to Big Daddy Kane in the movie, and there were folks who were doing complex things before Rakim. But there's this aesthetic change going on at that time, which is, this complexity is entering hip-hop.
I call it verbal gymnastics. It's like, let's not just rhyme simple to the 4/4. We're going to intricate it. We're going to make it in 16s. L.A. at that time was trying to define themselves. And we had to let the world know what we looked like. So while we were busy defining ourselves, which was pretty much a gang culture, New York had taken it off into what in hip-hop they call skills. They're like, okay, anyone can rhyme 4/4, but do you have skills? Can you take it to the next level? So what I had to do is say, I'm not going to be able to have maybe that verbal complexity. I have to rhyme heavy. I have to make, like I said in Mind Over Matter, it ain't really how much you say, it's what you say. I got no time on the mic to play. I have to take what I say and just make it heavy. So every single bar means something. And in Chuck D, I live off of his rhyme. I don't rhyme for the sake of riddling. So there's no riddles in my rhymes. Every single word means something.
There's something really great that Chuck D says in the movie that frankly something that had never occurred to me. And Chuck D's style, for those who for some reason have never heard Public Enemy, is a sort of booming and proclamatory. He has one of the most powerful
Here
voices.
it is. Whoa, okay. Yeah.
And Chuck talks about the fact that he developed this style, and many of the MCs that went before him developed these sort of proclamatory, big booming styles, essentially because they were rapping on such lousy sound systems that in order to cut through the crappy sound, you just had to boom. Like, it had to be as clear as a bell and as powerful as a gunshot, or else it wasn't going to get heard.
You don't know how many MCs I've trained to rap live. Like, I've taken people out on tour and I've like, look, I got to teach you how to rap live. The trick is, first off, you have to listen to the monitors. Secondly, you have to listen to your voice and how it's coming through that monitor and actually EQ your own voice to break that system. So if I got a very low voice like that and it sounds muggy, I might have to take my voice up to where it's going to cut. I work with Slayer, and Tommy from Slayer said one time, he said, well, if I can't hear what you're saying, how can I hear what you're saying? So you have to, we take a lot of time with these rhymes. I want you to hear every word. And the great MCs understand that's important. These are like, if you even look at the paper, like, it's thousands and thousands of words. I told somebody one day, I said, I take a Bruce Springsteen album, I could take all the words in that whole album, and that's one song for me. The amount of numbers of words I have to use to get one song done.
It's Bullseye. I'm Jesse Thorn. My guest is the rapper and actor Ice-T. He talks to a whole pile of hip-hop luminaries about their craft in his new movie. It's called Something from Nothing, The Art of Rap. I want to play a clip of a great freestyler who also has spent his career refining his use of language, and that's Eminem. This is him talking to you in Detroit about his writing process.
What I love about rap is that it feels like it's puzzles to me. Like, words are like puzzles, and trying to figure out a puzzle and trying to figure out what word can go here. Like, how can I take words and put them at the end of the sentence, but in between maybe make some words rhyme in between that rhyme, and like sandwich them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so sandwich those words and try to make them rhyme inside of the phrase, and then come back outside and try to rhyme with the word that I ended on the snare. I'm kind of real into the technical part of it.
That sounded complicated with what he was saying. Like, a rapper can follow that. And to everybody else, that probably sound like, what the hell is he talking about? Yeah.
It must have been fun to go and talk to all of these people that you've known for probably, most of these people are probably personal friends and acquaintances.
No, everyone was. The only way I could do the movie was just call my friends. I had no ability to call. I didn't really want to call people I didn't know because I wanted the film to feel like a conversation. So I just called all my friends up out my address book. I said, look, I got an idea. I want to do a movie. I'm not going to ask you about money, cars, girls, beef, jewelry, none of that. I just want to ask you about the craft. Everybody's like, wow, nobody ever asked us those questions. So they were like, word, I just come through with the camera, get me. So now you got to hunt them down and chase them because all these guys are moving targets and stuff. So you're trying to get Dr. Dre, and he's like, show up at my crib at 3. And you show, and his man's like, yo, Dre had to pick his son up. He'll be back at 6. You get back at 6, and then somebody's like, yo, Dre says tomorrow at 9. Is that cool, Ice? And they're like, oh, my God, what are we going to do? I got a camera crew. Somebody goes, Be Real's on the phone. Okay, tell Be Real we're on our way. So we just running and gunning. And there's no rehearsal or anything. No one was prepped for the questions. I was just having fun talking to my friends about something we all love.
Because I imagine that when you go and, have lunch with Dub C or something like that, you guys are talking about each other's kids, or you're talking about,
we're talking about old times.
What movie you saw, like whatever,
yeah.
Just normal people's friend stuff.
Yeah, we talk about the Xbox, and we talk about this, we talk about that. But mostly we reminisce. I think, if you were a football player and you see some of your old teammates, you talk about Game 6 in the playoffs. We all have so many inside stories. I remember I was with Dub C in Canada, and Coolio broke into a pawn shop, and stole like a guitar or something, And so I'm like responsible for them. They was like the Mad Circle, and I'm like responsible for them. And Coolio had a guitar. And I'm like, yo, where did you get that guitar? And he's like, somebody snitched and said, yo, Coolio then broke the window at the... I'm like, yo, we got a show tomorrow. Like, you can't be robbing. What if you get arrested tomorrow? You in Canada, dude. So it was like, there's so many of those stories. And I think one of the things about interviewing, like, I guess more classic MCs and people were in my area, a time when I was, out there on the road, you got humility. When you deal with a new MC, everything's on point. There's no mistakes. There's no problems. I can't, no, we don't have no mistakes. But when you get to somebody like Run, he can look back and it's just funny. You've already succeeded in what you want to do. You can kind of laugh at your life.
I want to take a listen to Dougie Fresh talking a little bit about the rappers who went before him and inspired him.
Can you, off the head, break out one of your favorite rhymes from any rapper, from any generation, from any time that you walk with that's just stuck in your head?
I mean, for me, man, the 3 best MCs of all time is Melly Mel, Kool Moe Dee, and Grandmaster Caz.
Right.
Hands down.
You got any
as
rhymes
far
off
as
the head?
foundation. I know all they rhymes, so don't ask me that.
Say one. Just say one.
Kool Moe Dee said, I rhyme 100 miles an hour with lightning speed and power. Sweetest of the sweet, make an MC sour. Timber as a tower, because I'll devour any MC and I can prove it now or a little bit later. I mean, come on, I can keep going with
That's
this.
right.
But see, the funny thing is each one of their styles are very different. Like Moe Dee was technically extreme. I mean, like sharp. And then slickness and flavor was Caz. Melly Mel was spiritual.
You ask all the guys in this movie, and we don't see it from everyone, a question like that.
Yeah.
And I wonder what made you decide to ask that question, because hip hop is for all of its virtues not typically a genre that's about talking about what you like about somebody else.
Yeah, well, the trick with hip hop, like when I talk to Snoop, hip hop is a sport. The only music that's really, really close to a sport. It starts off, my DJ's better than yours. I can out-rap you. I can out-dance you. My graffiti piece is better than you. It's very competitive. But we are all fans. You start off a fan. Before you start playing basketball, guess where you were? In the bleachers, watching Michael Jordan slam that ball, and you wanted to do it. You start off listening to rap. So we all are fans.
Who defines a great MC for you?
I mean, to me, between Chuck D, I mean, there's great ones. Chuck D, KRS-One, Ice Cube. See, people don't understand why we call ourselves MC. And when I finished the movie, I was like, wow, we left that out. An MC is a master of ceremonies. The DJs in the Bronx found out that back in the day when hip hop was first starting, that everybody dug the breakdown of the record. Like, why the breakdown when you have a record and it goes get down, the part where the people stop singing. That's the part where everybody would try to dance the best and stuff. So the DJ said, why even play the rest of the record? Let's just play the breaks. And they were playing Steve Miller Band. They were playing Aerosmith. They were playing Billy Squier, Big Beat. They were playing all these records. I was spinning Black Sabbath, dun 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 dun. And the trick was not to let the other DJs know what beats you're playing, because you couldn't go out and buy beats. You had to get them. So they would hide their records, and the guy that had the best beat breaks was the best DJ.
Biz Markie was famous for bathing with his records to take the labels off.
Exactly. So there was a secrecy about it. So now I'm the great DJ. You hand the mic over, I hand it over to you, and I say, tell everybody how great I am. So that's why early rap records were all about the DJ. It was Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, Jazzy Jeff and the French Prince. The DJ provided the music. It was his sound system. You're lucky to be rapping. But what the rapper did, he would go, yeah, the DJ's great, but I'm kind of cool and I'm kind of fly, and slowly stole the show from the DJ. And then another guy would get up and say, well, he was good, but I'm better. And matter of fact, I was with his sister last night. And the crowd would laugh. And that's how it would happen. But an MC not only can rap, but he can control the crowd. That's what a great MC is. So when you see kids on stage and they can rap, but then when you say tell the audience what to do, they kind of freeze up. They're not MCs yet. An MC is like a KRS-One or a Chuck D or an Ice Cube or a Melly Mel. They just dominate the stage when they're on, and you just are in the palm of their hand. So, and like my favorite, I guess a lot of people's favorite is Rakim. And Rakim was just so lyrically deep that it just made everybody kind of it wasn't just wordplay, it was like content. It was heavy, and his flow was impeccable.
You say in the movie when you're talking with him that what was so amazing to you is that when you heard Rakim, it was like being transported to a different place, which is very different than what had been going on in hip-hop to that point, which was essentially either just talking about fun stuff, who's the best, whatever, or talking about this is the reality of here, this is where I'm from, this is describing my situation.
Well, he also had the ability to hit MCing dead on the head. And Eric B. for president, I came in the door, I said it before, I never let the mic magnetize me no more. That means, every rapper walks into a show and says, I'm not rapping tonight. I'm going to chill. But it's biting me, fighting me, enticing me to rhyme. I can't hold it back. I'm looking for the line, taking off my coat, clearing my throat. This rhyme will be kicking in till I hit my last note. It's like, and then like in Microphone Fiend, where he says, I was a fiend before I became a teen. I melted microphones instead of cones of ice cream, music orientated. So when hip hop was originated, I did it like pieces of puzzles, complicated. I grab the mic and try to say yes, y'all. They try to take it and say that I'm too small. Cool. I don't get upset. I kick a hole in the speaker, pull the plug, then I jet. I mean, it's like crazy. It's art. I could take another rapper and he could rap 10 times as long as what I just did and never say anything as fly as that. So that's why it's not really how much you say, it's what you say.
What's remarkable to me about Rakim specifically is that as eloquent and profound as his lyrics are, the other thing that is that makes him such a transformational figure, I think, in hip hop, is the fact that you could drop all of the language from Rakim's flow. You could make it. And this is the thing that makes me feel like it's unfair to say hip-hop is poetry, because it's something other than poetry. Because you could drop all of the language from a Rakim verse, and the sound of that voice just as an instrument on the song is so spectacular. I mean, he took the cadence of hip-hop from ba 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 to this moving, flowing, shifting, changing cadence that is, it's like a John Coltrane solo.
It's incredible. The thing of it is like I try to explain to kids when I do lectures, I'm like, let's start off with a drum beat. All right, so we have a drum beat, boom, bop, boom, 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 bop. If you're a singer, you're like a horn, or you're like a string, or you're like a violin. So over the beat, boom, bop, boom, 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 bop. You're going da 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 da. You're like flowing over it. That's what singers do. Rappers are percussion instruments. So our job is now inside the beat to lay an additional percussion. So the beat's going boom, bop, boom, 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 bop. We go da 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 da. That's the flow. Now that's a trick. So we're laying a percussion inside of a percussion.
I want to play a clip of Nas talking about hip-hop. I think Nas has this really passionate answer to this question that you asked everyone. And let's hear it.
Why do you think rap isn't respected?
Threatening. We're not supposed to be thinking like this. We're not supposed to be talking like this. What are we doing proud of how we talking with this broken English? How the f*** Are we making poetry out of this broken English? Why are you guys bringing street conversation to the mainstream world? Stay in your place, stay out of there. I don't like looking at you. Fix your pants, fix your hat. Y'all supposed to stay in the gutter, get out of here. What are you doing invading my home? Why are my kids liking your music? What's going on? I don't like you. I don't like you. That's all it's saying. And we know it. So that's why I'm proud to wear my a little sag. I mean, I'm a grown man now. I don't have no business wearing saggy jeans. No business at all, you know what I'm saying? But I might let it sag a little bit, just annoy a few stiff just because that's what got me here. And I'm always gonna stay true to that.
And, you know, Nas's father was a jazz musician, you know, incredible. I mean, a lot of these guys got musical backgrounds. Rakim can play like every instrument. Flavor can play like every instrument. So, you know, a lot of these cats go about this as, you know, music. You know, it's not just, you know, I just think, like my friend told me, you make it look easy, and the press kind of leans toward the rock and roll side of it. The rock and roll side of it is, hey, how you partying? Who tore up the hotel? What girl you sleeping with? What kind of Ferrari did you buy? But you're forgetting that Aerosmith plays instruments. Like Keith Richards and those are really guitar players. It starts with the art. And then the rock and roll lifestyle really is available to anybody that's got money, honestly. You know, so once you get money, if you interview 100 people with money, they'll all sound like rock stars.
It's funny when you ask Nas that question, he doesn't even have to take a second to think about it. That is so close to, you can feel that pain, that upset that he has right there. And he's saying, and he basically just opens up and lets it out. And it's this thing that has driven him.
It's driven all of us
to be the guy that he is.
It's driven all of us. You know, it's what I call powered by hate. You know, people that are successful, you always usually working upstream, you know, and that's what makes you excel. You know once people start liking you, then it becomes difficult, you know, because now everybody's on your side. But when there's some kind of opposition to what you're doing, that's what rock lives off of. You know, it needs somebody to say it's not, I don't like it, you know, and then you're like, yeah, I'm going to push this down your throat. Like, if I want to stay in shape, all I got to do is go to the internet and hear somebody say, oh, Ice-T's old, and I can go get another 20, 50 sets in the gym, you know. Use that negative energy to fuel you, and you'll find out. I used to tell parents, I said, if you really want your kids to stop listening to hip-hop, act like you like it too, you know. And say, hey, let's sit down and listen to this Ice-T album together. They'll hate it. So, you know, that's part of it. That's part of adolescence, being a little bit different. And I think that's one of the paradoxes rap is going into right now, is because the parents, we are hip-hoppers, and the kids, they don't want to be on the same channel, but our generation never grew up. Hip-hop is the fountain of youth. You just don't grow up. If you were there, we're on the same. I'm on the same. My son's 20. I'm on the same channel he's on. You know, so we wear the same clothes. We feel the same thing, and it's a weird generation we're in right now.
But it is. I mean, I think it is different for you and the other folks who are in this film, and you know, there really isn't anyone featured in this film who you know, emerged in the 21st century. This is, you know, Kanye West is, you know, whose first record came out in like 2001.
Yeah, you're true.
And so most of these folks that you're talking to are folks who have perspective on their careers, who have perspective in many cases on the rise of hip hop. You know, they remember, as I'm sure you do, before hip hop existed. And that's a very different thing than to talk to somebody who, you know, if you went out and talked to somebody, if you went out and talked to A$AP Rocky, you know, who's just about to put out his first real record.
Well, he's jumping on a boat that's already rolling. You know, he's jumping on a ship that's moving versus trying to move it from nothing. So they're coming in at this place when, you know, radio controls rap. You know, right now you're underground. You're not going to sell any records. You have to go pop. You have to be on the radio. It's a lot of different dynamics with these kids today. There's thousands and thousands of rappers. When I started rapping, you could actually buy everybody's record. You had the Run DMC album, you had the EPMD, you had that Beastie Boy album, you got the Rakim album, you know, you pretty much now you got everyone who dropped. Every month there would be like 4 or 5, but you could own every rap album. Now, come on, man, they're putting out like 100 mixtapes a day for free. So it's flooded right now. It's very difficult.
How do you think your perspective is different now on that era of the birth of hip hop, now that it's been 25, 30 years?
I didn't really know what we were creating. I didn't really know how big it would be. No one could foresee clothing lines and movies and television and Doritos commercials with rap, but we knew it was something, and we knew every time somebody said it was a fad, we were like, it's not. So we knew it was going to be here 25 years later, but we had to fight. I mean, they used to take Luke to jail. They were after me. We were outlaws. I used to go to events, and they would read stuff to me, said, well, if you curse, I remember Columbus, Georgia. Said, if you curse, we're going to take you to jail. I must have cursed up a storm, and the cops were standing on the side of the thing, and my boys were running the lights. They shut the lights off in the arena, and I went into the crowd and got out, and then the cops were chasing the bus, and we got outside of the city limits. This is outlaws. Like, we were just having a good time, but we're like, we're breaking your dumb law. But, kids, nobody's getting hurt. We're not hurting nobody. This is free speech. I I talked to Alice Cooper one time about the Bible Belt. Now it's the Dirty South. When I was doing it, it was the Bible Belt. He said, well, Ice-T, there's just some places you don't rock and roll. Because they were definitely after him and his crazy ass. He was out there doing Wild Cold Alice and stuff like that. But I'm just proud to have been a part of it, a movement that's still around today. Kids have transformed it in a lot of ways. And I think as being an OG or a person that had something to do with it, I just want to keep a level of difficulty in it. That's what makes it an art form. Don't drop the bar so low that anybody can do it. There's no skill set to it. One of the reasons you call someone a star, when I look at Michael Jordan, I call him a star because he's doing something I can't do. That's what a star does. When you just make it like everybody can do it, yeah, everybody can rap. Everybody, my mailman comes over. This fool sounds like DMX. He like, hold up, son. Yo, I got lyrics, son. But to be that star that we all gonna admire, there's got to be more to it than just a hit single. You gotta give me more. I want to believe in you, and that's all I want. I just want cats to continue to keep it funky.
It's Bullseye. I'm Jesse Thorn. My guest, Ice-T, is the director and the host of a new film called Something from Nothing, The Art of Rap. What answer to a question, now that you talk to literally dozens and dozens of MCs, what answer surprised you the most?
I think the answer really was the origin of them. Those were always interesting. Like KRS-One saying he started in a battle. I didn't know KRS-One got his name. It doesn't say it showed in a movie, but he said he was studying Hare Krishna, and he was named after Krishna. I was like, wow, I thought your name was Chris. He's like, nah. So there's lots of these origin stories, or MC Light or Salt, and people telling how they stood in their kitchen and rapped, and Be Real saying, hey, they told me I wasn't going to be in the group. You're like, Be Real? Cypress Hill? Nah, they said you better get a better voice. He had to come up with that voice, or he was out of the group. Just those moments when the rappers just said, man, like even Kanye saying, I lost my first battle. I was just impressed with the humbleness of the artists and them being honest with me and telling real, true, heartfelt stories that I don't think anyone would have ever heard, ever. I would have heard it, but I've been given a chance to let y'all see the rappers I know. Because people, they see Snoop, but they don't know Snoop. I know him. So that's why sometimes when I see and I hear negative stuff about my people, my boys and stuff, I'm like, come on, man, that ain't really dude. That's drama. And like you could sit here and have a nice interview with me, but later on tonight when we doing the after party and I go into Ice-T mode, I'm a crank up, and I'll go into that nightmare walking psychopath talking. I'll put the lokes on and I'll bail on stage. I'll be 18 years old again, and that's performance, and I'm giving it to you, and I'm there. So we are a lot. We are multidimensional. People meet me all the time. They go, Ice, you're a nice guy. I thought you'd be like a serial killer. I go, I always tell them, I go, well, you're not my enemy, are you?
So I need to ask you about this because I've read it several different places, but
Okay.
I figured as long as you're sitting here in
The
my
horse's
studio,
mouth, man. You got me.
Yeah, exactly. So when I was a kid, I was born in 1981. So when I was a kid, I had no greater hero than Mr. T.
Okay.
Mr. T was like the hero of my life until I was old enough to know that I should probably get a real hero who has actually done stuff.
Right.
No offense to Mr. T. He's great.
Mr. T
He's
got
great.
put on by being the best bouncer. He was in a bouncers contest.
So I want to know, I have heard from a number of sources that you actually wrote rhymes for Mr. T's weird sort of after-school special home video.
Be somebody or be somebody's fool. It was an album by Mr. T.
How did you? We actually used to have the album at my old college radio station. I've listened to it a number of times. Mr. T is not a talented rapper. Like I said, I'm still a Mr. T fan. I'm not putting the man down, but he's not good at rapping. But how do you even get that job? A, is that true? And B,
Well, how do you do it? Very carefully, okay? Mr. T is not the kind of person that's really going to take too much instruction. I mean, you ask Mr. T.
Especially in 1985, right?
Ask Mr. T, what do you do on Thanksgiving? I don't eat. I feed the hungry. I clothe the naked. Lord have mercy. So I was just a hot rapper in L.A. at the time. They had a project for him. They said, we want to do this album called Be Somebody, Be Somebody's Fool. We want him to have positive raps. Can you do this? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it was a work for hire. It was a job. It paid a little bit of money. I'm like, blah, you say, in them days, you say, hey, I'll give you $25,000. I'm like, guess what? I'll write that. You know what I'm saying? So I said, give me the topics. And they wrote one about mama, and they wrote one about this, and they just gave me the outlines. So I wrote these rhymes. So then they made the music, and I had to rap it over the raps. Then I had to give the tracks. This is how you do it. Then you give that to him and listen to it. And he rolled with it for like a month. And his job was to learn the raps. So somewhere floating around, there's a Be Somebody or Be Somebody's Fool's master with me rhyming all those damn rhymes. Somewhere.
Whoever gets their hands on that, you're in trouble, man.
I don't care. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm on television. I'm caked out. I'm all right. I got a view of the ocean. So I'm all right. At this point, I can't say I've ever heard the album. I think I heard one or two of the songs. But hey, it's Mr. T, man. Mr. T had cereal, okay? So stop playing. Mr. T was the man back in the day.
There's this one song on the record that I listened to recently.
Oh no, you about to play it?
Yeah, of course I am. Yeah,
okay.
I'm gonna play it here in the studio. And this song,
what's it called?
It's called "Treat Your Mother Right."
Oh Lord, I know that.
Mother, I always love her.
Who made the music?
Treat her right, treat her right. M is for the moan and the miserable groan from the pain that she felt when I was born. O is for the oven with its burning heat, where she stood making sure I had something to eat.
I guess I spelt out mother for him,
My temperature when I wasn't feeling right. H is for the hard-earned money she spent to keep clothes on my back and try to pay the rent.
It's kind of super lyrical. I kind of like it.
You know what it is, man? I was young. Mr. T was the man. I was kind of like happy to be able to do it for him. But rap can do a lot of things, where you can rap about yourself, you can rap commercials, you can rap a lot of different things. It's a vocal delivery. That's the one thing I try to tell people. Rap is a vocal delivery. Hip hop is the culture. So you take like a new pop singer like Keisha, and she's singing, rapping, woke up the morning feeling like P. Diddy. She's not hip hop. She's just rapping. Anybody can rap. Like they say, Big Daddy Kane, if you, Dr. Zeus was a rapper. If you rhyme cat with hat, you're a rapper, So, but being part of the culture means you know a little bit more about where it came from.
Well, Ice, I sure appreciate you taking the time to be on Bullseye. It was great to have you on the show.
All right. Hey, man, it's been fun.
Ice-T from 2012. Something from Nothing, The Art of Rap is available to stream and on DVD now. Check it out wherever you watch movies.